Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning. We'll start in few minutes. Let me take all the students. Which class you are having now, right now, just prior to this?
Ma'am, no one class.
Huh? No class?
मैम इससे पहले कोई क्लास नहीं थी.
अच्छा, हमेशा नहीं रहती है क्या थर्सडे को?
नहीं मैम, थर्सडे फ्राइडे सैटरडे तीनों दिन में कोई क्लास 9 बजे से नहीं होती.
नहीं होती. अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक ठीक. Okay, so let me share my screen and I will.
N.
Can you see my
N.
screen?
MEN.
What is there on the screen? I request all the participants to please mute yourself, except one or two, because.
Ma'am, there is logical instructions on slide.
Okay, good. Last time we have done this. We have started with this. Let me see the participants. Okay. So 4 people are in waiting room. So now how many are there? 30 are there. Shall we start now? Last time we have done this. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Instructions. So last time we have done this, and now we'll start with the further instructions. What we have done last time, we have taken this example logical instructions we were started, and we had completed arithmetic instructions. In all logical and arithmetic instructions, accumulator is involved. So we have seen this particular example when we talk about A and A, that means ANDing, and ANDing is done with accumulator contents. What can be ANDed? The register contents. Any register contents B, C, D, E, H, L can be ANDed with accumulator contents bit by bit. And if we take A and AM, then we are ANDing memory contents, that is M is formed with the help of HL pair. So we are ANDing those particular contents with accumulator contents. So last time we have seen the example also. Suppose if A is containing A hex and B is containing 0F hex, then after ANDing, after execution of A and A, B register contents will be ANDed with A register contents, and this ANDing will be done bit by bit. So AA is written as 10101010, and B, that is 0F, is written as 00001111. So when you AND 0 and 1, the result is 0. When you AND 1 and 1, the result is 1. You all know the truth table of AND gate. So whenever there is 1 1, the result is 1, otherwise the result is 0. So now what are the new contents? New contents are 0, and this one is, what is this? A. So new data, where it will be stored? It will be stored in accumulator. Always the result of arithmetic and logical operations are stored in accumulator. So this we had done last time. We had done this also. We had taken, so let's say, suppose if the instruction is ANAM, then if your HL pair is having 2050. Participants, please mute yourself. Am I audible? Only one can answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if HL pair is containing 2050, then 2050 contents are considered as M contents, and these are, let's say, for example, if it is 0F, and if accumulator is containing AA, then after ending ANAM, A contents will be added to M contents bit by bit, and the result will be stored into accumulator. So this will be your new contents. So similarly, we will go with the further logical instructions. So ANI 8-bit data. That means this is also logical instruction. It is also doing ANDing, but I stands for immediate data. So previously here there was R, that is any register, but now here it is direct data. So suppose if you have example like this, if A is A3 and if your instruction is ANI 97 hex, that means 97 is data, immediate data. So if you take this A3 like this and 97 will be written like this, then bit by bit the ending will be done. The next new result will be 8 3, and this result will be stored into accumulator. So ending can be done with register, ending can be done with memory contents, and ending can be done immediately. Similarly, you can do or in other logical operations also, like you can do XOR, that is XOR XRA R. It can, XORing can be done with any register content, any register. XORing can be done with M. ORing can be done with any register. ORing can be done with M. And these are the two other instructions, CMP R and CMP M. What is CMP stands for? CMP stands, I don't think so I have to explain you XOR and ORing, because it will be similar to ending NA instruction. Only thing is that instead of ending, here we'll be doing XORing bit by bit, and in case of OR, instead of ending, we will be doing ORing bit by bit. So is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see, we'll go with the next instructions. So this is what last time we had seen, and now today we'll start with our new lecture, today's lecture. So we haven't seen complement. This CMP stands for complement. If it is R, then R can be accumulator, R can be B, C, D, E, H, L. So if or and other, if you write CMPM, that means memory contents will be complemented. So complementing means CMP is not complementing, CMP is comparing. So comparing means compare with accumulator. With what the data will be compared? The data will be compared with accumulator contents. So comparing means indirectly what we do? We do subtraction in our mind. What we do, suppose if you are asked that whether 9 is greater or 6 is greater, then what we do? We just compare, we do inside we do subtraction. That means we see that which data is greater and which data is less. So if you are writing the instruction CMPR, that is compare with accumulator, then how are the things? It will be always compared with accumulator contents. So if your accumulator contents are less than register contents or memory contents, then carry flag will be set, because always the inside the subtraction is done from accumulator. We are not told that it is doing subtraction, but logically comparing means it is doing subtraction. So from which to which place the subtraction is done? Always from accumulator contents, register contents or memory contents will be subtracted. So always suppose if your accumulator contents are less, then carry flag will be set, because you are subtracting bigger number from smaller number. So your carry flag will be set and zero flag will be reset, because the result is not zero. But if your accumulator contents and the contents which you are comparing, the register contents or memory contents, are equal, then your carry flag is reset, because there is no carry, because both the numbers are equal. But zero flag will be set, telling you that the result of comparison is zero. That means your contents are equal. So it will not tell you that the contents are equal, but it will tell you with the language of flags. If zero flag is set, then contents are equal. If carry flag is set, then accumulator contents are less. If carry flag is also not set and zero flag is also not set, that means contents of accumulator are greater. Understood? All of you have understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So it is comparing. CMP means, CMP stands for comparing. Comparing with accumulator. So always it is inside, it is a logical subtraction, but it is done through the subtraction result is not shown to you. Only the number which is greater or smaller, whatever may be the accumulator contents, whether it is greater or smaller, that will be told to you. Again, it is not told to you with the help of the content showing, but it is told to you with the help of the setting of the flags. So how many flags we have? We have 5 flags: carry flag, auxiliary carry flag, zero flag, sign flag, and parity flag. So in comparison, these 2 flags are important. If you find that carry flag is set, that means accumulator contents are less. If you find that zero flag is set, that means accumulator contents and register or memory contents are equal. If you find that both the flags are reset, no flag is set, that means carry flag is also zero and zero flag is also zero. That means accumulator contents are greater. So I think this is clear to you. So we'll see
Yes,
the example. If your example is CMP B, that means you are comparing B register contents with accumulator contents. So suppose if your B register is containing 62 hex, and if your accumulator is containing 57 hex, then 50 accumulator contents are compared with B register contents. So accumulator is placed over here, B is placed over here. Now which is less? Accumulator is less, because accumulator is containing 57. When you compare, it is logical subtraction. So contents are not changed. Accumulator content will remain as it is. B register content will remain as it is. But flags will be modified and tell you that which comparison result, which is greater or which is smaller. So you are comparing from accumulator. So comparing from accumulator means carry 57, subtract minus 62. So 57 is less number. So generally naturally the carry will be set to 1. So with this comparison result, because B is containing higher number than accumulator, carry flag will be set to 1. Zero flag will be reset. That means it is showing that the result is not 0. And sign flag will be set to 1, because sign flag means telling you that the result is the accumulator contents are less. And what is sign flag? Sign flag is nothing but the contents of D7 bit. Your accumulator is containing 8-bit data. So 8-bit data means it will start from D0 to D7. So which is your most significant bit? Your most significant bit is D7. So whatever is the D7, that is considered as your sign flag. So if your D7 is 1, then sign flag is 1. If your D7 bit is 0, that means sign flag is 0. And what is auxiliary carry? Auxiliary carry is nothing but the result of this nibble, 7 and 2. If 7 minus 2 is, now it is positive number, it is not generating any carry. So if it is not generating any carry, then it will be, then auxiliary flag will not be set. But if it is generating carry, then the auxiliary flag will be set. Understood? So what should be your auxiliary flag?
Yes, ma'am.
What should be auxiliary flag here? If you
Zero होना
subtract
चाहिए, ma'am.
from, हाँ, 0 होना चाहिए. Very good. Why 0 होना चाहिए? Because the 7 minus 2 is positive number. So auxiliary carry flag is not set to 1. And what will be the sign flag over here? If you see the result, if you check whether the D7 bit is higher or not, whether which D7 bit is checked here, it is the accumulator D7 bit is checked. So when you are working with sign numbers, let me tell you what is sign number. You have 0, 0 to FF numbers. 0, 0 to FF means altogether you have 256 decimal numbers. That means from 0, 0 to FF. But suppose if you want to work with positive numbers and negative numbers, then you do not have option of putting the sign. So why you do not have option of putting the sign? Because there is no such register which will contain the sign minus. So what we do, we take this as D7 bit, we consider as sign bit. So if it is 0, that means you are working from 00 to 80 hex. That means prior to 80 hex, that is 7F hex. So all your number from 00 to 7F hex, their D7 bit is 0. Understood? 128 numbers out of 256, that means half numbers out of 256. So half numbers means 128 means in the hexadecimal it will be 00 to 7F. So all 00 to 7F, if you plot them, if you write them D0 to D7 format, your D7 bit is 0. That means all these numbers are positive numbers. But if you are dealing with sign numbers, then only this is the nomenclature. But when you are not dealing with sign numbers, then these are all numbers from 00 to FF, all positive numbers. But if you are dealing with sign numbers, then all the numbers starting from 80 hex to FFX hex are considered as negative numbers. Why? Because from 80 to FF, D7 bit is 1. Understood? So this is how your carry flag, this is how your sign flag is defined. If you are working with the sign numbers, then your sign flag should be according to D7 bit. So now what is the content of accumulator over here? The result content will be, the result content 57 minus 62, it is not reflected in accumulator because it is logical subtraction. It is not a permanent subtraction. So your result will not be available in accumulator. Accumulator content will not be changing. 57 B register content will not be changing. It will be same, but according to the contents of subtraction, your flags will be altered. Understood? Flags will
Yes, ma'am.
change, but contents will not change. So who tells you that the number accumulator contents are less or not? Generally, it is carry flag and zero
Carry
flag.
flag and zero flag.
Zero flag. If contents are equal, then zero flag will be set to 1, telling you that both the numbers are equal. That's why your subtraction result was 0, and that's why your zero flag was set to 1. But if it is not set, then you have to check with the carry flag. If carry flag is 1, that means accumulator contents are less. If carry flag is 0, that means accumulator contents are low. So if you want to compare the data, you have to see the status of the carry flag. Clear? Now we'll go
Yes,
to the further logical instruction. Further logical instruction is STC. It is just the instruction STC. It is not containing any other operand with it. So STC stands for set carry. So whatever may be your previous carry, whether it is 0 or whether it is 1, now after execution of STC, it will be set to 1. So whatever may be your previous, whether it is 0 previously, whether it is 1, carry flag is a single bit. So it can be either 0 or it can be either 1. So if you write instruction STC, it will be set to 1. Now next logical instruction, CMC. Now CMC stands for complementing. And what it is complementing? It is complementing carry flag. So it is a bitwise operation complementing only carry flag. So whatever may be your previous carry, that will be complemented. Complemented means inverted. So inverted means, suppose if your carry flag previously is 1, and if you execute the instruction CMC, then it will become 0. If your carry flag previously is 0, then after CMC instruction, it will become 1. So it is just inverting the previous status of the carry flag, this particular instruction. Now there are only two complement instructions. One is CMC, that is complementing carry flag, and one is CMA, that is complementing accumulator. Because carry is only single bit number, so if it is 0, it is complemented to 1, and if it is 1, it is complemented to 0. But in CMA, there are 8 bits because accumulator is containing 8 bits. So 8 bits means all 8 bits will be complemented one by one. So if your accumulator previously is containing 33, that means it is 0011 0011 33. And when you complement, this 0 will become 1, this 0 will become 1, this 1 will become 00, this 00 will become 11, and this 11 will become 00. So each and every bit is complemented. So now what will be the new contents? New contents will be CC. This is C and this is C. So now new contents will be CC. Understood? Complement accumulator.
yes, ma'am.
So complement, there are only two complement instructions. You cannot complement the contents of any other register. You can only complement the contents of accumulator. So if you want to complement the contents of other register, then what you have to do? You have to first move the contents to accumulator, and then only you can complement. With the help of CMA instruction, you can complement. Because you do not have CMR register, you cannot complement directly the contents of any other register. So now we will move with further logical instructions. Now what are further logical instructions? These are rotate instructions. So if I write the instruction RLC, I don't have to write any operand with rotate instructions. It is understood that whatever rotate operation we do, this is with accumulator, because we always tell that arithmetic and logical operations are done through accumulator. So if I write RLC, that means it is rotate. L stands for left and C stands for, here it is little bit opposite in 885. If you write C, that means it is without carry. If you do not write C, that means it is with carry. Now don't get confused. If it is C, then it is without carry. If there is no C in the instruction, the rotate instruction, then it is with carry. So you have to remember that it is exactly opposite nomenclature is adopted. I don't know why it is done, but it is available as it is, and we have to follow like this only. So RLC stands for rotate the contents of accumulator bits to left one by one without carry. Here no, now because we are talking about carry will be modified, but other flags will not be affected. No sign flag, no zero flag, no parity, no auxiliary carry flag will be affected. Only carry flag will be affected. Now how it works, when we see the execution of this particular instruction RLC, what happens, let's say your pattern is 8-bit pattern is B0, this is your least significant bit, this is your most significant bit, and carry is outside. So if you write instruction RLC, that is rotate left without carry. So carry will not be taken into rotate operation, but contents of carry flag will be modified. How it is modified? Now when we talk about rotate left means this side, at my left hand. So my left hand means this will be all the bits will be rotated left. So when you rotate B0 to this place, now this place will become B0. This will come over here. So this pattern will shift from this place to this place. So this pattern will be shifted to left 1 bit. And now this, because it has shifted to left 1 position, this position is empty. And what will be available at this position, because you have shifted this to left, B7 has come out. So where this B7 will go, this B7 will take the position of B0. Understood? And also the B7 contents will go into carry flag. Here carry flag is not involved, but carry flag status will be altered with the contents of B7 bit. So rotate left means 1 bit is rotated left towards left, and because we are rotating from this place, this left, this B0 will come over here, B1 will come over here, B2 will come over here, B4 will be here, B5 will be here, and B6 will be here. Now B7 is thrown out, and where this B7 will go, B7 will sit into carry also, and B7 will sit into B0. So this is how your rotate left without carry works. We'll see one example. Suppose if your accumulator is containing A7 hex. A7 hex means A1010. This is for A. And 7 means 0111. Now, if you write instruction rotate left without carry, C stands for without carry, then what will happen? According to our new logic, B0 bit will come over here. So all these bits will be shifted to, all these bits from here, whatever is in red, will be shifted from this position to this position like this. So this will come over here, this will come over here, this will be here, this will be here, this will be here, and this will be here. And where this will go to the position of B0 bit, and again this will go to the position of carry. So carry will also become 1 and your B0 bit also become 1. So now what will be the new content after rotating? The new content after rotating will be this 0 1 0 0, that is 4, and 1 1 1 1, that is F. So when you rotate A7 left without carry, then your new contents are 4F. Understood? Everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't get confused. If it is written C, that means it is without carry. Carry flag will be modified with B7, but carry flag is not taking any position in these bits. So this is how your rotate left is working. Now next instruction we'll see RRC. What is RRC? It is rotate right. What contents are rotated? Always accumulator. Rotate instruction is involved only accumulator. So rotate right without carry. Previously it was rotate left. Now it is rotate right without carry. And carry flag will be modified. In left it was modified according to B7 bit, but here it will be modified according to B0 bit. And similarly sign flag, zero flag, parity flag and auxiliary parity flag will not be affected. So how it works, we'll see. Rotate, we are talking about rotate right without carry. So carry will not interfere in this pattern, but your B0, you are rotating right. Rotating right means exactly you are doing at this, at your right hand side. So when you do at your right hand side, this B will come out, will be thrown out. B0 will be thrown out. It will come outside. This B1 will take over here, B2 will take over here, B3 will take over here, B4 will take over here, B5 will be here, B6 will be here, and B7 will be here, and this position will be empty. So this B0 thrown out from this place will occupy the position of B7 bit, and again carry flag will also take the position of B0 bit. So this is how your rotate right instruction works. We'll see one example. Suppose if your previous contents of accumulator are A7, A7 means it is 1010 and 0111. And if you write the instruction RRC, that means rotate right without carry. So this B1 will come over here, this B0 will be thrown out and it will take the position of B7 bit. This will come over here 1, this will come over here 1, this will come over here 0, this will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 0, and this will be 1. So now new contents will be what? What is this? This is 8 plus 4 plus 1, that is 13. 13 means it is D. So new contents will be D3. So your A7 will change to D3. Understood? Everybody understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll see next instruction, logical instruction. Further moving ahead, RAL, that means rotate accumulator left. But this is with carry. When it is C is not written, it is with carry. If C is written, it is without carry. So here C is not written, that means it is with carry. What it is doing, it is rotating the contents of accumulator towards left with carry. So we'll see the next contents, how it works. Suppose if your pattern is this, now because we are talking that it is rotating left, so it will move to left side, but with carry. So now here carry will also interfere. So your B0 will come over here, B1 will come over here, B3 will come over here like this, and the position which is left, which is free over here, carry flag will take the position of B0 bit. and where B0 bit will go, B0 bit will go to the B7 bit. Understood? So how we'll see one example how it works. No, actually I will give you the example. Suppose if we will see this particular example, A7. You have to tell me A7, if your initial carry is 0, this is your assignment. If your initial carry is 0 and if your A contents are A7, then what will be the result after execution of RLC and what will be the result after execution of RAL? RLC is without carry and RAL is with carry. Both are rotating left but with carry. So your new contents of accumulator depends upon the status of previous carry. Both the results will not be same. RLC result will be different and RAL result will be different. Why? Because previously this bit was, when we talk about RLC, that is without carry, then carry is not taking any position in this. Carry is outside, but B0 bit is taking the position at carry. But when we talk about with carry instruction like this, then your carry flag will also sit to this empty position and your B7 which is empty now, this B0 will sit to this particular position also. So you have to tell me, the assignment is that if your contents are, accumulator contents are A7 and if your carry flag is 0, then what will be the result of RAL and what will be the result of RAR? What is RAR stands for? RAR stands for rotate accumulator right with carry, because C is not mentioned over here, so it is with carry. Now how it works? It works like this, because you are rotating right, so B1 will come over here, B2 will come over here, B3 will come over here, B5 like this, B7 will come over here, and now this position is empty position, carry flag will take over this position and your B0 will be here out, which will go to the carry flag. This will be taken care by, the carry flag will be now modified according to B0 bit. Whatever may be the previous status of carry, that will come to the B7 position, and whatever may be the new status of carry, it will be dependent upon the contents of B0. So this is how with carry and without carry instruction works. So this is your assignment, that you have to tell me the contents of accumulator after execution of RAL and after execution of RAR if your initial carry is 0. Understood? So next we'll see the branching instruction. Everybody is clear with rotate instructions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you have to practice it, because just now you have understood it, but when you work with it, you will understand that better. So if you will go with the branching instructions. Branching instructions are, there are conditional branching also. Branching means jumping from one place to another place. So now here, what is a place? Place is nothing but a address, 16-bit memory location. So from one memory location you want to jump to other memory location, then you have to use the branching instruction. So it can be conditional, that means you are checking some condition and then you are branching, or it can be unconditional. If you write JMP instruction alone along with 16-bit address, then because it is JMP alone, it is jump unconditionally. You are not checking any condition. Wherever you are right now, at whichever memory position, wherever is your program counter right now, it will be jump to the new memory pointer, that is 2050. So when you execute this instruction, jump JMP 2050, now your program will start from 2050. Execution will start from 2050 because it has branched to 2050 memory location. So now it will leave the previous execution and it will start the new execution which is available from 2050 memory location. This is called unconditional because you are not checking any condition, you are just jumping. But if you are checking the condition, what can be the conditions? You can check the condition of carry flag, you can check the condition of whether it is signed positive number or negative number, you can check the contents, the condition of parity, you can check the condition of zero flag, whether it is zero or not, zero set or not. So if you write, these are called conditional jumps. So if you write JC and then 16-bit address, always this jump is, whether it is conditional or whether it is unconditional, it is always associated with 16-bit address followed by 16-bit address. So if I write JC 2050, then first it will check whether carry is set or not. If carry is set, then only it will jump to 2050. If carry is not set, then it will come down to the next instruction in the program, because it will not jump, because the condition is not satisfied. Similarly, if you write JNC and then 16-bit address, first it will check whether carry flag is set or not. So JNC means it will check whether carry is not there. If carry is not there, then only it will jump to the 16-bit address. But if carry is set, then condition is false, and if the condition is false, it will not jump to that memory location, but it will come down to the next instruction. Understood? Similarly, you can check whether number is positive or not. How will you check whether number is positive or not? You have to see the condition, you have to check the status of sign flag. If sign flag is 0, that means number is positive, and you will jump to the location assigned over here. But if sign flag is 1, that means your contents are negative contents, and you will jump to the memory address assigned with JM. Here you are checking parity. If your number of ones are even, then you are jumping to the memory location assigned with this particular instruction, JPE 16-bit address. Let's say JPE 2050 it is. So you will check whether parity is even or not. You have to check whether parity is even or not. If parity is even means your number of ones in the contents are 1. That means your contents are even. That means your parity flag is set to 1. But if your parity is odd, that means number of ones in the contents are odd numbers, then your P0 bit is parity flag is 0. So it is checking the condition of parity flag and it is jumping accordingly. If the condition is not satisfied, it will come to next instruction. Similarly, in JZ and JNZ, you are checking the status of the 0 flag. If 0 flag is set, then you will jump to the 16-bit address associated with this. If your 0 flag is not set, then it will come down. And if you are working with JNZ instruction, then if it will jump when your 0 flag is not set. And if your 0 flag is set, it will come down. So I think all the jumps are clear to you. When you will write the program, that time you will better understand that or how these jumps are used, how the condition is checked. So next instruction is control instruction. There are 2 more branching instructions, call and call instruction is one branching instruction, but we will see that later on because it is related to subroutine. So when we will understand the subroutine, when we'll see what is subroutine, then we will see with the call instruction. So moving ahead with control instruction, the next this instruction is knob. When you do not want to do anything, but you just want to pass the time, just want to provide the delay of one instruction execution, then you will write the instruction now. It will not do anything, but it will just provide you the delay of this particular execution time. Next control instruction is halt. Halt means you are ending. You are ending with the program execution. When you write HLT at the end of any program, that means that program is ended over here, and you will be executing the instructions all which are available at above HLT instruction. So if you want to end your program, you have to write HLT instruction. Now, last time we have seen arithmetic instructions, but one instruction was remaining, that is DAA, which is called as decimal adjust accumulator. Now, what decimal adjust accumulator is doing you, because whatever data we take into accumulator, that is always considered as binary data or hexadecimal data. But suppose if you want to treat this data as BCD, that is decimal data, binary coded decimal data, then in accumulator it will be hex, but for you to treat that data, it will be binary coded decimal, that means decimal data. So how this instruction works, suppose if you add two numbers 39 and 12, then if you do not write DAA instruction after addition instruction, then it will be 9 plus 2, it will be showing you B. Why B? Because after 9, what is the hexadecimal number? A. And after A, what is the hexadecimal number? It is B. So 9 plus 2 will give you B. And 3 plus 1 will give you 4. So if you do not write DAA instruction, then your data addition result of 3, 9 and 12 will be 4B. But you do not want that. You want to work with microprocessor, but you want your addition results to be treated as decimal results. That means you want that microprocessor should show you 39 plus 12 as 51, because 9 plus 2 is 1, carry 1, that is, and 3, 1, 1 plus 1 is 5. So 51 is your new contents. So if your contents are 39 and 12, then if you want to have result 51, then you have to write DAA instruction after add instruction. That means if you take the new program, let's say, why this is done? Because suppose if you want to display the result, if you want to purchase bananas, and if you say that you want 10 bananas, then the banana wala will understand that you want 10 banana and he will give you. But suppose if you say him that you want a banana, if you talk in hexadecimal language, a banana, then he will not understand what is a banana. He will understand that he will not understand how many bananas to give it to you. But if you tell 10 bananas, then he will give you 10 bananas. So if you are working with decimal data, but you are working through microprocessor, then you do not want the numbers to be A, B, C, D, E, F, because these numbers are not understood by common man. Common man will understand 10 after 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if you want to have this kind of results, then after the add instruction, you have to write DAA instruction. So it will adjust the accumulator decimal way. So decimal adjust accumulator. So that's why when we add these two data and when we write DAA instruction, then instead of 4B result, you are getting 51. And how this is done? This is done when you see that the result of addition is greater than 9, then you will add 6 to this particular contents. Now see over here, this is 9. And if you add anything to this, ultimately this addition is going to exceed 9. So apart from this, you have to add 6. That means 0, 1, 1 0. So when you add 0 1 1 0 0 to this, this is your 6. So when you add these two, so when you work with DAA, it sees that whether the addition nibble is greater than 9. If it is greater than 9, it automatically adds 6 to this particular number. So 1 plus 0 plus 0 will be 1. 0 plus 1 plus 1 will be 0 plus 1 plus 1 will be how much it is?
0.
Yeah, this is a little bit wrong, I think. Yeah. So 0 plus 1 plus 1 will be 0 and carry will be generated. So carry will be available over here. Now 0 plus 0 will be 0, plus 1 will be 1, plus carry 1 will be 1 plus 1, that is 0. Again new carry will be generated over here. And so 1 plus this new carry is 0, and again the carry will be generated over here. So 1 plus 1 is 0. Carry 1 will be generated. This will be available here, and that 0 plus 1 will be here 1. And now new carry plus 1 will be 0. Carry will be generated over here, and 0 plus 1, this carry will be 1, and 0 plus 0 is 0. So now what is the new addition result? It is 5 and it is 1. So when it checks that your nibble, addition nibble is greater than 9, then automatically it adds 6. Now here your result is not greater than 9, so it will not add 6. But if it finds that here also the result is greater than 9, then it will add 6 over here also. So if your addition nibbles, both the nibbles are greater than 9, then at both the places 6 will be added. But if only one nibble is greater than 9, only to that particular nibble the 6 will be added. If this is not greater than 9, then here 6 will not be added. But if this is greater than 9, here 6 will be added. If both are greater than 9, then both places 6 will be added. So this is how your DAA instruction is work. So now instead of 39 plus 12, instead of 4B, now you will get new data, new addition result, that is 51. So if you want to display the result of addition, if you want to make the calculator, and if you want to show the display, and if you are adding two numbers 39 plus 12, inside microprocessor is working. Microprocessor is giving you the display. But if you do not write DA instruction, it will give you the display as 4B. But if you write DA instruction, it will give you the display as 51. And now 4B will not be understood by layman, but 51 will be understood by layman. So this is the beauty of DAA instruction. I think is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So your next assignment is that you have to add two BCD numbers, binary coded decimal numbers, 97 and 0 have hex, and your result also should be BCD. sorry, this is BCD number, so this cannot be 0F. This has to be, let's say my number is 0, 3. So 97 added with 0, 3, what should be the result? If it is decimal number, then what should be the result? Anybody?
In decimal.
Yeah, in decimal, what will be the result?
100.
Yes, good. So what will go into accumulator? 100 means 0, 0 will go into accumulator and 1 will go to carry flag.
Carry flag.
But if it is not BCD addition, then 7 plus 3 will be 12. Sorry, 10. 10 means it is A. And 9 plus 0 is 0. So your addition result will be 9A if it is not BCD. So you have to write the program that 2 BCD numbers are given and you want to add these 2 BCD numbers and your result should also be BCD number. So here you have to make use of DA. This is your assignment that you have to write the program for this. Write the program for this. This is your one assignment. And what was your another assignment which I had given you? You have to find out assignment 2. That is today's second assignment. That is I have told you that your accumulator contents are A7 hex, and you have to, and your initial carry is, you start writing your attendance in chat box. Your initial carry flag is 0. Then you have to show me the result of RLC, RRC, RAL, RAR. Next time you have to show me these particular results. If you're understood, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is all for today. Next instructions we will do tomorrow and we will start then programming. So all of you please write your attendance in chat box. So everybody has written the attendance in chat box. So all of you have written your attendance in chat box. So all of you have written the attendance. Anybody is left?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay, so you can see these assignments on the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
So I will stop sharing and we will end over here and we will continue tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you all can put your cameras on. You all can put your camera on. All can put your camera on. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye. Good day. We will
Thank
end the meeting. Yeah.